Cafe. Anyway. Hey.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
It appears that I missed a day. Oops. I got busy. There was some stuff I had to do, and I got busy. But here I am.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
At Cafe Anyway, somewhere in Podcaster Valley, the last place on earth, getting busy with you here on Mike's Daily Podcast. It's episode 2492, 2492. It's a blast. You and I discussing some interesting things, hanging out at Cafe Anyway, and Mike Matthews tries to sing at the beginning. There you go, and I'm done. Okay.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
What is it with all the migrants getting all this
Mike's
free transportation
Daily
to the capital?
Podcast.
Florida flied.
Yeah.
Florida flew. DeSantis flew 2 plane loads of migrants to, was it DC today? To Martha's Vineyard. And then it was Texas Governor Abbott. Not Gregory Abbott. You read my mind, girl, I want to shake you down. No, Texas Governor Abbott sent a second busload of immigrants to Chicago. Chicago officials have asked the public for volunteers and donations to help migrants being bused to the city from Texas amid the Republican-led state's political battle over the immigration policies of Joe Biden. A busload of 50 immigrants arrived, this is on Sunday, to Chicago after the arrival of the first busload of 75 people. Mayor Lori Lightfoot said the city had not yet heard from any Texas officials and urged Texas's Governor Greg Abbott to collaborate on a more humane treatment of immigrants, not just using them as, we'll send a message. Here, you go. I believe that happened years ago when a bunch of cities sent...
And here's today's podcast picture.
Unhoused people, as we call them now, to Santa Monica. Because I think it was Martin Sheen who was the mayor of Santa Monica. This was years ago. And they said, you're welcoming to homeless people? Well, we'll just send all our homeless to you. Which makes me wonder, if I was one of these people getting bussed around, how that would make me feel. Okay, hey, you're just a pawn. But most politicians use people as pawns anyway. Isn't that right? The late great Basil the Boxer. Yes, I know. Nobody likes to be used and abused. Hey, let me think. There is a political party that's being used by somebody who doesn't want to ever admit that he loses at anything, and this political party is being used by him because he doesn't want to ever say that I lost. I wonder how those people feel. Oh, they love it. They want him to run for president again. Well, that's it. And maybe there's other people, another political party being used by politicians. Just be careful of being used, folks. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I just hate it when I'm being used. I had some girlfriends that treated me badly, used Mike Matthews in a way that he did not like, and you just have to realize we all have worth, and we should not be manipulated emotionally by things like movies like Marvel. Manipulating us emotionally. Why did you do? No, it's Pixar that does the emotional manipulation, because they do these really heart-tugging things in their movies you weren't expecting. So what is this now, Gizmodo? By the way, that last article was from Yikes. I clicked off of it. I will find it because I want to give them credit. But yeah, it was recently the D23. The Marvels Loki Season 2, Echo, and Ironheart were all unveiled at the D23 Expo. This according to Gizmodo.com. And you don't even realize it, but you've already seen footage from the Marvels. At D23 Expo Saturday, Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios broke news and showed footage for over an hour straight, culminating with the first ever footage from the Captain Marvel sequel, which will also feature Monica Rambeau and Ms. Marvel. The footage revealed that the end credits scene of Ms. Marvel, in which Carol Danvers, played by Brie Larson, randomly appears in Kamala Khan's Iman Vellani's bedroom, is actually from the new film, which will be out in July of next year. I don't know any of these people. I have lost touch with it all. But that perhaps means something to somebody. And if it does, they're probably not listening to this podcast. They're listening to something, the Geekcast. Actually, I had a roommate who did a podcast. I didn't even know this. When I said, okay, yeah, you're going to be renting a room for me. I'm going to use you for money. No, I didn't say that. I said, you can rent here. You can rent a room and I will not charge you hardly anything, even though it's the Bay Area. And then I did not know till later, was doing his own podcast. It was fascinating. So what that means is that we're all able to do stuff that other people don't know. So we have super abilities like being able to podcast. And that news from Florida was from Market Watch on MSN. We have amazing abilities. Everybody should be able to podcast and say what they want. I'm okay with people saying what they want to say, but things like saying that Sandy Hook was all staged, really? That's kind of you're asking for trouble. Now you've gone a little too far. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley.
Anyway,
the last place on earth. Here's a question for y'all. Even though we don't really talk like that here in California, it is a good way of putting a bunch of you all together and saying y'all. Actually, there may not even be anybody listening to this, so y'all still works. At any rate, or n'all. But here's the point, Nollins, that when somebody calls you and you don't answer for whatever reason, that is your way of saying, I can't talk to you at the moment. Maybe I don't want to talk to you at the moment. Maybe I've got other things happening at the moment. But just no, I'm not going to do it. If you're the person on the other end and you go, well, so-and-so never answers their phone, maybe you haven't considered the fact that there's a reason why they're not answering the phone. They see who it is calling. And they're not, I have just discovered that. Oops, they don't want to answer my calls. So at that point, I give them lots of room. But I'm noticing that people that are the type that call you a lot and you don't want to talk to them and you don't answer the phone, they don't get it. Those type of people, they just don't get it. And they keep calling you over and over again. I guess it's a thing. You know what I'm saying. Now I'm going to talk about something that's going to get me banned from YouTube. Okay, voting machines provide accurate election results, fact checkers report. This is according to The Hill. Voting systems undergo hardware and software testing to ensure they produce accurate results and comply with state and federal requirements. This according to the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA. And election experts say that post-election audits confirm ballot tabulating machines are highly accurate. If you want that in Spanish, para ver más contenido como este en español, cambia los ajustes de idioma. Maybe that wasn't what that was, but what you need to know: post-election audits, including those held in Maricopa County, Arizona, indicate election machines perform accurately. There are safeguards in place for voting software and ballot issues. There is no evidence Dominion voting systems machines changed or deleted votes in 2020, fact checkers report. That also being tweeted by the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA. AP Fact Check says with the midterm ahead, a look at the false claims about election voting that spread after the 2020 election. Former President Donald Trump falsely claimed Dominion voting systems deleted or switched large numbers of his votes. That is not true. APnews.com. And Reuters Fact Check had an article recently that provides information and context on how voter fraud in the U.S. is not a widespread issue, as some online commentators claim, but made exceedingly rare by existing safeguards. That according to Reuters. Okay. Interesting. Some of that I got from Twitter. Now, I'll have to say to you, yes, that was Twitter retweeting this article from the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA. So take that with a grain of salt, or take that with what you will. Twitter is going through a lot lately, and most of it has to do with security, or maybe some of it has to do with right-wing thought not getting promoted as much as left-wing thought. And I think it's interesting that this was carefully written to say fact checkers, that fact checking is involved. But that is being pulled from Twitter, so take that with it with what you will. Okay, now, do you watch or rather listen to Marketplace? Hi, this is Kai Rizdal, and this is Marketplace. Market took a nasty fall today. We'll take a look later as we look at the numbers. Kai Rizdal? I was listening to him today because this market today was a crazy day as far as the markets went. And Kai was trying to keep us all calm. Kai Rizdal will look more of that as we look at the numbers. And so Kai is being the background voice in my head today from Minnesota Public Media, or whatever they're calling it now. Outside a cafe, anyway, somewhere in Podcaster Valley. Look who's here.
Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, gift shop surveys. That was really fascinating, Mike Matthews.
What part? The migrant part?
No.
The part about Kai Rizdal?
No.
The fact checking on Twitter, which apparently a lot of people don't trust. They call that fake news. You are fake news.
No.
Okay, I give up. This isn't as fun a game as like when we do with Madame Rutabaga, where she says yes all the time. You just say no, and that's how it goes.
Mike Matthews, I gotta sell snow globe. Bye, y'all, bye.
Now she said the bye thing that Benita does as she left. I'm very confused. Outside a cafe, anyway, somewhere in Podcaster Valley. Look who else is here. Hello, Mike. This is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer. Mike, you haven't told us what the podcast picture is today. Yes. Okay. I think we'll go with something recent, like we've been doing a lot of lately, recent photos. But I think I got a good one here. You can see it at mikesdailypodcast.com. We have a podcast picture for every podcast. Even this one, 2492, 2492. It is time now for the segment called Mike. Let's go. Wait, what is this? Let's go back with Matt is what this is. Okay. At one point in my history in the radio world, I was doing a bit of the country music. And in 2002, I was on a station called K-Hey, where a lot of these characters came from that you hear on Mike's Daily Podcast. So let's hear a little segment here. Let's hear a little bit of 20 years ago, what I sounded like, Mike, in 2002.
I don't know where that came from, but don't worry, I won't do anything. It's Colin Ray. That's my story.
Colin Ray was a big singer in 2002. Well, more in the 90s. He would do a cool cover of Led Zeppelin song. Rock and Roll, I think it was.
Thanks for coming to the K-Hey Santa Fe Cafe. By listening, you've arrived. It's the Friday Make Bets on the Oscars Fest. And you and I are being visited at my table by the stage of the K-Hey Santa Fe Cafe by our busboy and his wife, our only waitress who wants to know my order.
Oh, man. I heard Willie Nelson played at the Ventura Theater tonight, and you're going to give away his CD soon.
That's true, yes. Very soon I'll give away his latest CD, The Great Divide, on this Loud Willie weekend.
Oh, Matt, that's what they used to call me back in high school, Loud Willie.
Okay.
Yeah, I was Loud Willie. Oh.
But your name is Homer now.
Yeah, well, I had to go through legal channels for that.
Oh, boy. All right, not my best work. I did, what do you call it? I hit the post. When you talk up an intro to a song and then you stop talking as the singer starts singing. It's a DJ thing. All right, well, enough about me and some of the stuff that was in my brain and in my history and all that. Let's go and hear a song in another segment we call... Now, that last segment, let's go back with Matthews. Here we are with the segment called... Oh, by the way, happy birthday out to my lovely lady friend's mom. Yes, it's her birthday today. So, we are going to play a song from someone named Natalie Miano. And she sent me a song to my email, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. And let's see. We will play it now. Oh. Okay. Maybe we won't, because she sent an email that doesn't seem to go anywhere. Oh, it's taking me to a Dropbox. It's just showing me a picture. Okay, that's not going to work well on a podcast, just a picture, although I do a podcast picture. Well, guess what? We're going to have to delete you, Natalie Miano. Thank you. Next time, bring along a little link to a song. Perhaps that would work a little better for all of us. Okay, here's something. Smoke Fairies. The Smoke Fairies have a new song. Okay, they seem to have a link that takes me to some music. Let's listen to that link. That's okay. It was a link to another link that takes me to Deezer, which I am on Deezer. My podcast is on Deezer, but not so much. Yeah, here's another tip. If you're going to send me a link, send it like to YouTube or something that I can open on here on the podcast. That's okay. Here's an Amelia Romano, and she has a YouTube link. Excellent. Okay. Let me see. Nope. That's not working either. I might have to kill this segment. People are just stupid and not sending me proper links. Okay, it does have a YouTube link. It wasn't working a second ago. This is called Deer in Headlights. How about that? Let's listen to a little bit of... This is the person, the artist known as Amelia Romano. Wow, a little harp action going on, some string music. Ooh. And then finally, here's a band called
Mike's Daily Podcast podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matt.
Not yet, A-Frame. Sorry. A-Frame got a little, she said, wrap up the show. We have to play the contestant. The person who's going up against Amelia, what's her face? Here's LA's Paper Pools. Okay? And a song called Turn On Your Lights. Paper Pools.
You stay alive now. You're in the wrong place. You're in the wrong time. You stay alive now. Turn on your lights. Turn on your lights. Turn on your lights. Turn on your lights. Turn on your lights.
There you go. Paper Pools. So which one do you like better, Amelia Romano or Paper Pools? You can call me 336-MM Daily. 3 + 3 = 6. MM as in Mike Matthews, Daily as in what this podcast tries to be. I missed a day yesterday, I think.
Call now. 336-MM Daily.
Just gonna confess, and I'm gonna own up to it, that I just didn't do a podcast yesterday. Oh, well. But thank you for listening to the show. Next show, we'll hear from Benita doing that buy all buy thing she says. Maybe she'll say that. We'll also hear from the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, the Brewmaster, and with more. Now you can take us out, A-Frame.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.